There are leaders who govern a country, and then there are leaders who quietly shape the destiny of an entire nation. In the history of Singapore, Dr. Goh Keng Swee belonged to the latter. He was quiet, thoughtful, a man of few words. Yet his eyes always seemed to look through the present and into the future. His intellect was so sharp that many of his decisions sounded almost crazy when first announced, only to later become the very foundations upon which the nation stood. His legacy was not found in grand slogans or speeches that stirred crowds. It revealed itself in everyday life: a stable economy, an effective education system, a secure country, and even the green spaces where Singaporean families find peace on weekend afternoons. To many Singaporeans, he was not merely a policymaker. He was the architect of a miracle. His influence stretched across finance, national defense, education, and culture, and even into places where people could pause, breathe, and truly live rather than merely exist. What made his legacy extraordinary was that his greatest ideas were rarely popular when first proposed. They were bold, risky, uncomfortable to the majority, and always ahead of their time. To understand how a man like this could create such far-reaching change, one must begin with a simple truth: his journey did not start with glory. He was born in 1918 in Malacca into a middle-class Peranakan family. His father managed a rubber plantation. His mother came from a prominent political lineage, ironically, a lineage that later included some of his own political rivals. From a young age, he was fluent in both English and Malay. He studied at Anglo-Chinese school, showed an early talent for economics, and later earned a place at the London School of Economics, where he graduated with distinction. On paper, it might seem as though everything followed the script of success. In reality, his early career was anything but glamorous. He once worked as a tax officer and nearly lost his job after being labeled underperforming. He joined the civil service, served in the Singapore Volunteer Corps during World War II, and returned to administrative work when Singapore fell under Japanese occupation. He married, raised a family, and spent many quiet years rebuilding his life after the war. There was no spotlight, no predetermined path, no sense of destiny waiting for him. Only one belief remained constant throughout his life: that a nation must be built for the future, not merely patched together for the present. Over time, he received scholarships, earned a doctorate in economics, and became deeply involved in social welfare and public policy. He founded the Malayan Forum, a student group advocating independence from British rule. He later joined the People's Action Party and emerged as one of the key minds behind the building of modern Singapore. 5 years older than Lee Kuan Yew, Dr. Goh is widely regarded as one of the founding fathers of the Republic of Singapore. Many Singaporean leaders have acknowledged that it was Dr. Goh, working behind Lee Kuan Yew, who shaped both the institutional framework and physical foundations of the nation through decisions that were widely seen at the time as daring trade-offs. Time would later prove they were not reckless. They were vision. One of the clearest examples of that vision came in 1981, when he challenged what had become an almost unquestioned global belief about how countries should manage money. At a time when many nations believed central banks should hold large cash reserves to protect their currencies, Dr. Goh offered a simple but radical counter-argument. No. We should invest our surplus reserves, not let them sit idle. That idea led to the creation of the Government of Singapore Investment Corporation, GIC, and introduced a completely new way of thinking: a small nation operating with the mindset of a global investor. Because of that decision, Singapore built a financial foundation strong enough to withstand storms that left many other countries shaken or even broken. But if one thinks of Dr. Goh only as an economic strategist, one has seen only half the man. What truly set him apart was his ability to view a nation as a living organism. For it to remain healthy, one could not focus on only a single part. It needed security to survive, education to progress, and spiritual and emotional space so its people would not be worn down by the pressures of daily life. That was why, in 1968, when Singapore was still poor, newly independent, barely 630 square kilometers in size, and focused almost entirely on survival, he envisioned something no one had asked for: a bird park. While attending a World Bank conference in Rio de Janeiro, he visited the city's zoo and encountered a vast aviary where thousands of birds flew freely. Many would have seen only a beautiful sight. Dr. Goh saw a reminder of what a small, struggling nation desperately needed: a place where people could seek refuge from urban life and reconnect with nature. The idea was dismissed as extravagant. A bird park? On an island nation where land was so scarce that every square meter had to be carefully rationed for housing? But he believed something simple yet profound. A nation cannot survive on factories and concrete alone. It needs beauty. It needs nature. It needs a soul. And he acted on that belief. In January 1971, the 20-hectare Jurong Bird Park officially opened, the first of its kind in Southeast Asia. Over time, it became home to more than 8,000 birds across 600 species, serving as a place of conservation, refuge, and a cherished legacy for generations of Singaporeans. Each visit became a quiet reminder of the man who imagined it when the nation was still worrying about tomorrow. That same year, Singapore faced an even greater anxiety. British forces announced their withdrawal. Foreign investors grew cautious. The country's future looked uncertain. In that moment, a major American oil company expressed interest in building a large refinery in Singapore. It was everything the country wanted to hear: investment, jobs, stability. The proposed site seemed perfect: Sentosa Island. For a young nation, the offer felt like a stamp of approval. Many believed nothing could be better. But Dr. Goh refused. He saw Sentosa differently, not as a site for machinery, but as a place for families, nature, recreation, and human experience, a form of national capital that once lost could never be bought back with money. He persuaded the company to relocate the refinery to Jurong Island, preserving Sentosa for leisure and public life. At the time, many thought he was being overly idealistic. But from 1972 onward, public and private investment flowed steadily into Sentosa, transforming it into a green, vibrant hub of tourism and recreation, with its now famous artificial beaches. Today, Singapore welcomes more than 10 million international visitors each year. About 5 million visit Sentosa, and nearly 1 million visit Jurong Bird Park. For tourists, these destinations are always part of the itinerary. After all, people do not travel to Singapore merely to see skyscrapers, things that exist everywhere, but to experience a country built with patience, sensitivity, and a deep understanding of human needs. And indeed, Dr. Goh's vision extended far beyond economics and tourism. He understood that long-term survival also required intellectual strength. In 1971, he quietly formed a small, secret team of young engineers tasked with advancing Singapore's defense technology beyond its size. The Electronic Warfare Research Group launched Project Magpie, which eventually led to the founding of the Defense Science Organization in 1977. From a small office within the Ministry of Defense, this effort grew into a national innovation hub. It is remarkable to consider that Singapore, a country smaller than many American cities, built its own advanced defense science ecosystem. But this was exactly what Dr. Goh envisioned: a nation protected not only by weapons, but by intelligence. Then, in 1979, he surprised many once again. On February 12th, he left the Ministry of Defense to become Minister for Education. Many questioned the decision, but history answered on his behalf. The Goh Report permanently transformed how Singapore's children learned. He introduced student streaming to align education with individual strengths, redesigned curriculum frameworks, and established the Curriculum Development Institute. For more than 3 decades, Singapore's education system evolved on the foundation of those ideas. In 2010, McKinsey praised Singapore's schools as among the most effective in the world, built upon the framework Dr. Goh had designed. Lee Kuan Yew later remarked, "One generation of Singaporeans takes today's standard of living for granted because he laid the foundations of our modern economy." It was praise reserved for a true nation builder. Dr. Goh's political career ended in 1984, when he was 66. Yet there are people who leave office but never leave the life of a nation. He was awarded the Order of Temasek, First Class, one of Singapore's highest honors. His name lives on through scholarships, professorships, and institutions dedicated to economic research and social progress. In 2008, his wife, Mrs. Phua Swee Liang, established the Goh Keng Swee Foundation to help the disadvantaged, continuing the quiet compassion he had upheld throughout his life. Dr. Goh passed away on May 14, 2010. But his contributions continue to bear fruit. Every stable economic quarter, every capable generation of students, every secure border, every scientific breakthrough, and every peaceful weekend on Sentosa Island. All are reminders of a man who saw Singapore's future long before the nation itself believed it could reach it. In the end, a nation is not built by loud voices, but by clear vision. Not by short-term victories, but by long-term courage. Not by those who seek recognition, but by those who seek progress. Dr. Goh Keng Swee did not merely help build Singapore. He helped Singapore believe in its own potential. And that is the enduring legacy of a true architect of destiny.